It was a brisk winter afternoon when Elon Musk arrived in the heart of a bustling downtown area. The city was alive with the hum of activity. Business professionals hurried along the sidewalks, street vendors called out to passers-by, and groups of tourists paused to admire the towering skyline. Musk was in town for a public event promoting Tesla's latest advancements in sustainable energy and transportation, but he had decided to take a rare moment to walk among the crowd. The billionaire entrepreneur, often associated with grand visions of Mars colonization and artificial intelligence, enjoyed moments like these, blending into the world of ordinary people and observing life from a ground-level perspective. Dressed in a simple coat and scarf, he strode past coffee shops and retail stores. His thoughts split between the day's meetings and the broader challenges of his work. As he rounded a corner near a row of food trucks, Musk noticed a man sitting quietly on the sidewalk. The man, later introduced as Joe, appeared to be in his late 40s, with a weathered face that spoke of years spent enduring hardship. He sat cross-legged on a tattered blanket, a small pile of personal belongings stacked neatly beside him. In front of Joe was a handmade cardboard sign, the words written in uneven black marker. "Hope is not lost." Something about the sign caught Musk's attention. Its simplicity and optimism struck a chord, cutting through the noise of the busy street. He slowed his pace, taking a moment to observe Joe from a distance. Unlike others who rushed past, Joe wasn't actively begging or calling out to pedestrians. Instead, he sat with quiet dignity, occasionally nodding at those who glanced his way. Curiosity compelled Musk to approach. He wasn't sure why. Maybe it was the phrase on the sign, or maybe it was the calm resilience in Joe's demeanor. Whatever the reason, Musk found himself drawn into an encounter that would become a defining moment in both their lives. As Musk neared, he noticed the thin, worn-out jacket Joe was wearing. The wind had picked up, and despite the chill in the air, Joe sat motionless, his hands resting in his lap. Musk felt a pang of empathy, realizing how exposed Joe was to the elements. Before Musk could say anything, Joe looked up and met his gaze. There was no sign of bitterness or resentment in his expression, only a calm curiosity. "You look cold," Joe said suddenly, his voice steady but kind. Musk was taken aback by the comment. Before he could respond, Joe reached down, picked up his only jacket and held it out toward him. "Here," Joe offered, his hands trembling slightly from the cold. "You can have this. It's not much, but it'll keep you warm." For a moment, Musk was speechless. The sheer selflessness of the gesture left him struggling to find the right words. Here was a man who clearly had so little, yet his first instinct was to help someone he perceived as in need. I can't take your jacket," Musk said finally, shaking his head. "You need it more than I do." Joe smiled faintly. "It's all right," he replied. "I've made it through worse. You just look like you could use it more than me." Musk knelt down to Joe's level, refusing to stand over him. "Why would you do that?" he asked, his voice soft but full of curiosity. Joe shrugged. "Kindness doesn't cost anything," he said simply. "If I can help someone, even just a little, then I figure it's worth it." Musk was deeply moved by Joe's words. In a world often driven by self-interest, Joe's act of kindness felt like a rare and profound moment of humanity. Musk could feel the weight of the moment settling over him as he tried to process what had just happened. "Thank you," Musk said sincerely, "but I can't accept your jacket. What I can do is sit here with you for a moment, if that's all right." Joe nodded, gesturing for Musk to sit beside him. The sight of one of the world's richest men sitting on a sidewalk with a homeless man quickly caught the attention of passers-by. People slowed down, some taking out their phones to capture the unusual scene. Musk, however, paid no attention to the growing crowd. His focus was entirely on Joe. "What's your name?" Musk asked, extending his hand. "Joe," the man replied, shaking Musk's hand firmly. "And you?" "Elon," Musk answered, smiling. "It's nice to meet you, Joe." "What brings you out here, Elon?" Joe asked, his tone lighthearted. "Work, mostly," Musk replied, "but sometimes it's good to take a step back and see what's happening in the world around you." Joe chuckled. "Well, you've found the right spot. Not much gets past this corner." The two began to talk, their conversation flowing naturally. Musk asked about Joe's life, and Joe, sensing genuine interest, began to open up. Joe's voice. carried a mix of weariness and hope as he shared his story. He had once worked as a skilled carpenter, building homes and furniture with pride. For years, he had provided for his family, finding joy in the simple pleasures of life. But then came a series of misfortunes, a sudden layoff, mounting medical bills, and the loss of his home after a long and bitter divorce. I tried to keep things together, Joe said, his gaze distant, but it felt like everything was slipping through my fingers. One day I woke up, and it was all gone. My house, my savings, even my tools. Despite the hardships, Joe refused to let bitterness consume him. I've met some good people out here, he said, gesturing to the street, and I've learned that no matter how tough things get, you can always find something to be grateful for. That's why I wrote the sign, to remind myself, and maybe others, that hope isn't lost. The crowd around them grew larger as more people stopped to listen. Some wiped away tears as Joe spoke, moved by his resilience and humility. Musk, too, felt a lump in his throat as he listened. Here was a man who had every reason to give up, yet he chose to hold on to hope and extend kindness to others. When Joe finished speaking, Musk placed a hand on his shoulder. "Joe," he said, his voice steady, "your kindness and your story have moved me more than I can put into words. I want to help you, not just today, but for the long term." Joe looked at Musk with wide eyes, disbelief flickering across his face. "What do you mean?" he asked cautiously. "I mean, I want to make sure you don't have to sit out here in the cold again," Musk said. "I'm going to help you get back on your feet, starting today." Musk pulled out his phone and called a member of his team, instructing them to arrange for immediate housing, warm clothing, and a meal for Joe. He also promised to provide financial support and help Joe access job opportunities, knowing that Joe's skills as a carpenter could open doors once again. "You've been through so much," Musk said, "but your generosity and strength inspire me. You deserve a fresh start, and I want to make sure you have the chance to rebuild your life." The crowd erupted into applause, some visibly moved to tears by the exchange. Joe, overwhelmed by the gesture, could only manage a quiet, "Thank you." "You've already shown me what real generosity looks like," Musk replied. "This is the least I can do to repay that." As the conversation between Elon Musk and Joe continued, the crowd surrounding them grew. People whispered to each other, many taking photos and videos of the extraordinary moment unfolding on the sidewalk. To see one of the world's most prominent figures kneeling beside a homeless man, listening intently, and offering help struck a chord with everyone present. Musk, aware of the growing audience, stood up and addressed the crowd. "This man, Joe, just offered me his only jacket," he began, his voice carrying a mix of admiration and humility. "Think about that for a moment. Here is someone who has so little, yet he didn't hesitate to show kindness and generosity. That's the kind of humanity we need more of in the world." The crowd fell silent, hanging on Musk's every word. Some wiped away tears, while others nodded in agreement. Musk continued, "Joe's story isn't unique. There are thousands of people out there just like him who've fallen on hard times. It's easy to look away or assume someone else will help, but we all have the power to make a difference, even in small ways." Turning back to Joe, Musk smiled warmly. "You've reminded me of something important today, Joe, and I think we can all learn from your example." In that moment, Musk made a public commitment. "I'm pledging $5 million to local shelters and organizations that support the homeless," he announced. Gasps rippled through the crowd, followed by spontaneous applause. This isn't just about charity, it's about creating opportunities, providing resources, and making sure people like Joe have a chance to rebuild their lives. The crowd's reaction was overwhelming. Strangers reached out to shake Joe's hand, offering words of encouragement and praise. Some left cash or gift cards at his side, moved by the story they had just witnessed. For Joe, it was an emotional whirlwind. He had spent years feeling invisible, yet here he was at the center of an extraordinary act of kindness. "Thank you," he said softly, his voice trembling. "Not just for me, but for everyone out there who needs a little hope." Musk crouched back down to Joe's level and looked him in the eye. "This isn't just about hope," Musk said. "This is about action. And it starts with you, right here, right now." The following days marked the beginning of a new chapter for Joe. True to his word, Musk's team sprang into action immediately after the encounter. They arranged for Joe to be moved into temporary housing, ensuring he had a warm, safe place to stay, while more permanent arrangements were made. One of Musk's staff members accompanied Joe to a local clothing store where he picked out new clothes, shoes, and a heavy winter coat. For Joe, the experience felt surreal. "I haven't had a coat this nice in years," he said, running his fingers over the thick fabric. The next step was addressing Joe's deeper challenges. Musk's team connected him with counselors and social workers to help him navigate his circumstances and set goals for the future. They worked with Joe to assess his skills and interests, discovering his talent and experience as a carpenter. "You've got valuable skills," one of the career advisors told Joe during their first meeting. "With a little support, we can help you get back to doing what you love." Joe was enrolled in a job training program to refresh his carpentry skills and learn new techniques. The program also provided him with professional tools, which had once been a source of pride but were lost during his struggles. Holding a brand new set of tools in his hands for the first time, Joe felt a flicker of hope that had been absent for years. Local media quickly caught wind of Joe's transformation, running stories about his journey and Musk's involvement. Interviews with Joe revealed his gratitude not just for the material help he had received, but for the dignity and respect with which he had been treated. "For the first time in a long time," Joe said during one interview, "I feel like I matter again." The public response was overwhelmingly positive. Donations to local shelters surged, and many individuals were inspired to volunteer their time to help others in need. Joe's story became a beacon of hope, proving that it was never too late to turn a life around. The encounter with Joe had a profound impact on Musk, prompting him to think deeply about how to address homelessness on a larger scale. While he was proud of the immediate help provided to Joe, he recognized that systemic issues required systemic solutions. Musk began assembling a team of experts, including social workers, urban planners, and technologists, to design an initiative aimed at combating homelessness. The program, dubbed Haven for All, focused on three key pillars: affordable housing, mental health services, and job placement programs. "Housing is just the first step," Musk explained during a press conference announcing the initiative. "We also need to address the root causes, whether it's mental health challenges, lack of job opportunities, or systemic barriers that prevent people from getting back on their feet." To fund the initiative, Musk pledged $100 million from his personal wealth, challenging other philanthropists and corporations to match his contributions. The program included plans to build modular, sustainable housing units that could be quickly deployed in urban areas. These units, designed using Tesla's engineering expertise, were energy efficient, cost-effective, and equipped with solar panels to reduce utility expenses. The initiative also partnered with local organizations to provide wraparound services, including counseling, addiction recovery programs, and skills training. A significant portion of the funding was allocated to developing technology that matched individuals with job opportunities based on their unique skills and experiences. Musk's efforts didn't go unnoticed. Cities across the country expressed interest in adopting Haven for All, and the program quickly gained momentum. Advocacy groups praised Musk's approach, highlighting it as a model for how public-private partnerships could address complex social issues. The video of Elon Musk's encounter with Joe began to spread almost immediately after it was captured. In the video, Musk could be seen kneeling down to speak with Joe, listening intently as Joe shared his story and humbly refusing the man's offer of his only jacket. The most poignant moment, however, came when Musk made a heartfelt promise to help Joe rebuild his life, a commitment that visibly moved both Joe and the crowd around them. Social media platforms erupted with activity as the footage was uploaded and shared. Within hours, the video had gone viral, with millions of people around the world watching the interaction. It wasn't just Musk's fame or wealth that drew attention. It was the sincerity of the moment, the stark contrast between the billionaire and the homeless man, and the powerful act of kindness that had started it all. The hashtag Kindness Matters quickly began trending across platforms. People were inspired not only by Musk's generosity, but also by Joe's selflessness. The simplicity of Joe's gesture, offering the only jacket he owned to someone he thought might need it, resonated deeply with viewers. "This is humanity at its finest," one user wrote. "A man with nothing gave everything, and it sparked something incredible." In the comment sections, users shared their own experiences with kindness, recounting stories of strangers who had helped them in times of need or small acts of generosity that had changed their perspectives. "This story broke my heart in the best way," one person wrote. "It's a reminder that kindness can come from anyone, anywhere, and it can change lives." Another comment read, "Joe's hope and humility remind us all of what really matters. We need more people like him in this world." The video inspired tangible action. Donations to homeless shelters and nonprofit organizations spiked dramatically in the days following the video's release. Local shelters across the country reported receiving unprecedented contributions, not just in money, but in clothing, food, and offers of volunteer time. One shelter director remarked, "We've had people walk in off the street saying, 'I saw the video of Joe and Elon Musk, and I wanted to help.' It's incredible to see how this story is motivating people to give back." Celebrities and influencers amplified the message further, using their platforms to encourage their followers to take action. Some shared their own stories of helping those in need, while others simply praised the viral moment as a powerful example of how one small act could spark a movement. "Joe's story is a reminder that compassion is contagious," one actor tweeted. "If we all did just one kind thing today, imagine the ripple effect we could create." Schools quickly began to incorporate the story into their lessons. Teachers used the video and accompanying articles to spark discussions about empathy, generosity, and the importance of social responsibility. In classrooms across the world, students reflected on the impact of small acts of kindness and brainstormed ways they could contribute to their communities. Some schools organized clothing drives or fundraisers inspired by Joe's story, turning the viral moment into meaningful action. The story also made waves in the media. Major news outlets ran headlines like, "When a homeless man's generosity inspired a billionaire's life-changing promise." From a simple jacket to global change, the story of Joe and Elon Musk. Kindness goes viral. How a chance encounter captured the world's heart. TV segments aired interviews with bystanders who had witnessed the moment firsthand. Many recounted how they were initially drawn to Musk's presence, but stayed because of Joe's extraordinary kindness and humility. "It wasn't just about Elon Musk," one witness shared during an interview. "It was about Joe, his dignity, his generosity. That's what stayed with me." The ripple effects of the viral moment extended far beyond donations and social media shares. Advocacy groups seized the opportunity to raise awareness about homelessness, launching campaigns that called for systemic change. They used the momentum to push for increased funding for shelters, expanded mental health services, and affordable housing initiatives. As the video continued to circulate, Joe became a symbol of resilience and hope. His words, captured in the footage, "Kindness doesn't cost anything," became a mantra repeated by people from all walks of life. His story reminded the world that acts of compassion, no matter how small, could ripple outward in profound and unexpected ways. Even months after the video first went viral, the hashtag Kindness Matters remained a rallying cry for people inspired to make a difference. Communities organized kindness drives in Joe's honor, collecting coats, blankets, and other essentials for homeless populations. Online, individuals pledged to carry out daily acts of kindness, sharing their efforts with the tag to encourage others to do the same. The impact wasn't limited to individuals. Companies and organizations also took notice, with many launching initiatives to support vulnerable populations. Inspired by Musk's public commitment, businesses large and small pledged resources to combat homelessness, creating programs to fund shelters, offer job training, and provide housing assistance. The viral moment also sparked deeper conversations about privilege, systemic inequality, and the ways society could work together to support those in need. People reflected on their own assumptions about homelessness and began to see the issue not as an unsolvable problem, but as a challenge that required collective effort and empathy. For Elon Musk, the viral moment was a humbling reminder of the unexpected ways people could connect. In an interview reflecting on the encounter, he said, "I've worked on some of the most complex problems in the world, but Joe's gesture taught me something simple yet profound. Kindness has the power to break down barriers and remind us of our shared humanity. As the video continued to inspire millions, its legacy became clear. It wasn't just about Joe or Musk. It was about the universal truth that small, selfless acts could spark something far greater. The story became a touchstone for compassion, proving that hope and kindness could thrive, even in the most challenging circumstances. Joe's transformation continued to inspire those around him as he embraced his new opportunities. After completing his job training program, Joe secured a position at a local construction company where his skills as a carpenter quickly earned him respect and admiration. With a steady income, Joe was able to move into permanent housing, a modest but comfortable apartment that he proudly decorated with furniture he built himself. "Having a place to call my own again feels incredible," Joe said. "It's not just a roof over my head, it's a fresh start." But Joe didn't stop there. Grateful for the kindness he had received, he began volunteering at local shelters, using his carpentry skills to repair buildings and teach others how to work with their hands. "I want to give back," Joe explained. "If I can help even one person find hope, it's worth it." His story continued to inspire people far beyond his community. Invitations poured in for Joe to speak at events where he shared his journey and emphasized the importance of treating everyone with dignity and respect. "We're all human," Joe often said. "No one's story is over just because they've hit rock bottom." The story of Joe and Elon Musk became more than just a heartwarming tale. It became a lasting symbol of hope, compassion, and the transformative power of selflessness. What began as a simple gesture, a homeless man offering his only jacket to someone he perceived as in need, sparked a global conversation about kindness and humanity. It was a reminder that even the smallest actions could create ripples that changed lives. Joe's journey from homelessness to stability served as a testament to resilience and the importance of second chances. His transformation, aided by Musk's generosity, was not just about material improvements, but also about the restoration of dignity and self-worth. For Joe, life had become a story he was proud to share, and he took every opportunity to pay it forward. He began volunteering regularly at shelters, teaching carpentry to those who were trying to rebuild their lives, and speaking at community events to inspire others. "Sometimes all it takes is one moment of kindness to change everything," Joe often said, reflecting on the day he offered Musk his jacket. Elon Musk's decision to help Joe did more than alter one life. It became the catalyst for a broader movement to address homelessness. The Haven for All initiative, born from Musk's experience, expanded rapidly. Cities across the country and even internationally adopted the program's innovative solutions, which combined sustainable housing, mental health support, and job placement services. The initiative became a blueprint for tackling homelessness in a way that was both compassionate and practical, emphasizing dignity and long-term solutions. Musk continued to champion the cause, using his platform to bring attention to the systemic challenges faced by homeless populations and to encourage others to take action. The story of Joe's jacket and Musk's response resonated with people around the world. Social media amplified the message, with millions sharing the video of their encounter and reflecting on the power of kindness. The hashtag Kindness Matters trended for weeks, encouraging people to perform small acts of generosity in their own lives. Stories of similar gestures began to emerge, creating a wave of positivity that extended far beyond the original event. Communities embraced the spirit of the story, organizing donation drives, fundraisers, and volunteer efforts to support local shelters and vulnerable populations. Businesses pledged resources to address homelessness, inspired by Musk's example of combining innovation with compassion. Advocacy groups gained traction, using the story to push for policy changes that address the root causes of homelessness, such as affordable housing shortages and inadequate mental health services. For Joe, the legacy of that fateful day was deeply personal. He often expressed gratitude not just for the help he received, but for the opportunity to inspire others. He became a symbol of resilience, proving that no matter how dire circumstances might seem, hope and kindness could pave the way to a brighter future. His story, shared in interviews, community events, and even documentaries, touched countless lives, motivating people to reconsider their assumptions about homelessness and to take action in their own ways. Musk, reflecting on the encounter, often pointed to it as a defining moment in his life. Despite his monumental achievements in technology and business, it was the simplicity of Joe's gesture that left a lasting impression. Musk frequently referenced the story in interviews, emphasizing the importance of staying grounded and connected to the human side of every issue. Joe reminded me that no matter how much we innovate or how far we reach, what truly matters is how we treat one another, Musk said. The narrative became a cultural touchstone, featured in articles, books, and even educational curriculums as an example of how compassion could transcend barriers of wealth, status, and circumstance. It showed that anyone, regardless of their situation, had the power to make a difference, and that generosity often had unexpected and far-reaching effects. As the years passed, the impact of the story continued to grow. Joe remained a beacon of hope, his life a testament to the power of second chances and the importance of community. Musk's initiative, meanwhile, changed the lives of countless individuals, transforming not just policies but also perceptions about homelessness and the value of human connection. The legacy of Joe's simple act of offering his jacket endured as a reminder that kindness, no matter how small, could ignite transformative change. It inspired people around the world to look beyond appearances, to act with empathy, and to recognize the shared humanity that connected them. In the end, it wasn't just about one man's jacket or another's generosity. It was about the collective power of compassion to bring light to even the darkest corners.